Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're going to unpack the absolutely incredible 70-year story of artificial intelligence. And if you really want to get why AI is completely reshaping our world, and so fast, we've got to go all the way back to the very beginning.
So our story, it doesn't start with a computer, not with code or some fancy lab. No, it starts with just a single, really powerful question asked way back in 1950.
Can machines think? Just 3 words. That was the question from the brilliant British mathematician Alan Turing. And you know, this simple, almost philosophical question, well, that's what kicked off the entire field of artificial intelligence.
And this is such a critical distinction. You see, Turing wasn't really asking if machines could understand things or be conscious. He was asking if they could behave intelligently. Could a machine act so smart that you couldn't tell if you were talking to it or a person? And that single idea, right there, focusing on behavior, not what's going on inside its head, that still defines AI to this day. It's huge.
Okay, so that question, it lit a spark. A big one. It led to what we now call the first AI spring. I mean, this was a time of just boundless optimism, right? It's when the field was officially born and finally got its name.
So, picture this. It's the summer of 1956. A small group of the absolute top scientists in the world, they get together at Dartmouth College, and they have this incredibly bold, almost crazy belief that every single part of human intelligence, learning, thinking, you name it, could be described so perfectly that a machine could be built to copy it.
So early AI was built on this really simple idea. If X happens, then do Y. And you know what? In a neat, tidy, controlled world, like a game of chess, this worked beautifully. But, and this is a big but, as these brilliant scientists were about to find out, their elegant dream was heading straight for a collision with the messy, hard wall of reality.
And here's why. The real world, it's just not a chess game, is it? It's messy and unpredictable and full of unwritten rules, what we call common sense. I mean, just think about it. The sheer number of if-then rules you would need to write just to teach a computer how to safely cross a busy street, it's astronomical. The whole idea was just too fragile for the real world.
So when that beautiful dream started to fall apart, it led to a long, cold period of disillusionment and failure. A time that's known, pretty ominously, as the AI winters. Yeah, the entire field got stuck in this really painful boom and bust cycle. You can see it here. Huge optimism in the 60s, then crash, the first AI winter in the 70s. Then it kind of bounced back in the 80s, only to collapse again into a second, even longer winter in the 90s. Promises just weren't being met, the funding completely dried up, and a serious chill fell over the whole field of AI research.
But, you know, as tough as those winters were, they weren't for nothing. The scientific community learned 2 incredibly important lessons. First, that our own intelligence is way more than just simple logic. And second, that you just can't hard-code intelligence. It doesn't scale. It's impossible to build it one rule at a time. But here's the cool part. While all this was happening, quietly, underneath all the snow of that second AI winter, a totally new, revolutionary idea was starting to grow. An idea that was about to change, well, everything.
So instead of trying to spoon-feed the machine all the rules, these pioneers, guys like Geoffrey Hinton, Yann LeCun, and Yoshua Bengio, they started asking a completely different question. They said, what if we let the machine learn the rules for itself, just by showing it a ton of examples? This was a radical shift in thinking, moving away from pure logic and diving into the world of patterns and statistics.
The thing is, this idea was brilliant, but it was way ahead of its time. Back then, computers were just too weak, they didn't have the horsepower, and there was hardly any digital data to learn from. Still, the seeds they planted, they didn't die. They just waited, for decades, until they could finally break through the soil.
Okay, now let's hit the fast-forward button. We're jumping to the 2010s. This is when a perfect storm of 3 different things finally came together, and it caused this sudden summer of AI that we're all living through right now.
And just like that, everything changed. All of a sudden, we had 3 key ingredients. First, massive data, thanks to the internet. Second, cheap computation from powerful computer chips called GPUs, which actually came out of the video game industry. And third, we had better algorithms, thanks to all that quiet research from the AI winters. The conditions, they were finally perfect.
Now, this is so important to get. This breakthrough, it wasn't about the machine becoming conscious. AI didn't suddenly wake up. What happened was, it got unbelievably good at one thing: finding statistical patterns in huge amounts of data, and doing it way faster and at a scale that no human ever could.
So this whole 70-year journey with all its booms and busts, all its twists and turns, it brings us right here to today. And what it shows us is a really fundamental truth about what AI is actually for, its real role in our world.
After all those decades of genius and failure, this one truth from our history really stands out. AI has always struggled with judgment, and we humans, we've always struggled with scale. Just think about that for a second. An AI can scan 1 billion documents in a heartbeat, but it has no idea what's truly fair. A person understands fairness deeply, but there's no way they could ever read 1 billion documents.
And that, right there, perfectly lays out the path forward. It's a partnership. The AI solves the problem of scale. It does the heavy lifting with patterns and predictions. And we, the humans, we provide the things it can't: the meaning, the context, the judgment, and maybe most important of all, the responsibility.
So I'm going to leave you with one last thought, a practical tool you can use. The next time you're using any kind of AI, just look at what it's doing and ask yourself, which part of this 70-year history am I seeing right now? Is this thing just following a rigid rule, or is it fluently predicting the next thing in a pattern? Because really, understanding that history, that's the key to using this incredible technology wisely.